Straight out of family court. Crazy motherfucker named Punisher. From the gang called Parents with Attitudes. When I'm called in, I got a warrant check. But these CPS bitches still try to snatch kids.
Yo, fuck the CPS coming straight from the underground. A family man get respect in my town, but these caseworkers hate when we stand up proud. Snatching kids for quotas, yeah, that's how they get down. Searching my house without a warrant in hand. Lying in reports, got the judge and they plan. Fabricate the danger, say the kids ain't safe while they trafficking babies for federal pay. You think you above the law, bitch, you ain't God. We record every visit, expose every fraud. Fuck with my family, get your career erased. Parents with attitudes, putting fear in your face.
Fuck the CPS, 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 fuck the CPS.
They got the power to take your seed, but we got the power to make them bleed.
Fuck the CPS,
fuck the CPS.
Here's a little story about a worker named Trish. Lied on the stand, got my daughter dismissed. Said the house was dirty, said I smoked that green, but the drug test came back cleaner than they dreams. False allegations coached the kids to lie. Now they in foster care, getting molested at night. System getting bonuses every time they remove, while real abusers walk, that's the fucking truth. We ain't taking this shit lying down no more. Upload the docs, let the Punisher score. Analyze the lies, hit them back in court. Parental rights, that's what we fight for.
Fuck the CPS, fuck
the CPS,
fuck the CPS, fuck
the CPS,
fuck the CPS,
fuck the CPS.
They got the power to take your seed, but we got the power to make them bleed.
Fuck the CPS,
fuck the CPS.
The revolution coming, better run and hide. Every Terminator parent riding on the side. From California to Maine, we connecting the dots, exposing the corruption, connecting the plots. CPAs think they untouchable, think again. We got recordings, witnesses, and the truth as a friend. App in your pocket, analyze they lives. The Punisher rising, watch the system die.
Fuck the CPS.
Parents with attitudes, we ain't going nowhere.
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
Punisher from Maine and the angry citizen. You're listening to Tiff and the Punisher with the angry citizen. We fight CPS corruption. We free America.
Can we stop the kidnapping of our kids?
I'm the angry citizen, pure Maine bred fire. CPS roll through town like a government choir.
We're just here to help, they said with a smile. Then they took the kids and drove off in style.
I said help, you call that help? That's a raid. You stole the future and you call it aid. They write their reports while the parents go broke. I write the Constitution and I call it a joke. They want quiet parents who never push back. I want every family they touch to attack. Free America means free from this scam. Stop kidnapping kids in the name of the plan.
Tiff from Virginia and I don't do soft talk. They showed up with clipboards and a fake Jenna walk. Tried to tell me my kids weren't safe in my care. I said safer with me than with y'all anywhere. Brought me a stack of papers thicker than sin. I handed it back and said this is where you begin to lose. Because I know what you really do. You break families down, they call it brand new. CPS loves a crisis and a signature line. But I love my kids more than their overtime. You don't get to play savior while you cash the check.
We're free in America, one rescued family next. Darren Guay, the Punisher, still standing after the fire. They took more than houses, they took the whole desire to live free without fear of a knock on the door. Now I'm knocking back harder than ever before.
You took the kids, you took the peace, you took the trust. Now I'm taking names and I don't do just. Section 1983 is my favorite bedtime story. Right next to how CPS lost all its glory. They said it was protection
I said protection from what?
from parents who love.
From homes that are tough.
You kidnap the kids, then you sell the whole lie.
We're free in America.
And you're out of time.
Angry citizen,
Tiff and the Punisher.
three loud mouths and
We ain't nearly done.
from Virginia heat.
To Maine, ice and rain.
We fight CPS corruption and we like the pain. Free America,
Stop the kidnapping game.
bring our kids home.
With the system to shame.
Tiff and the Punisher.
With the angry citizen.
You wanted quiet families. You got a whole army instead. You took the kids. Where's the damn proof?
You took the kids, now we're telling the truth.
You took the kids and you still want applause.
Receipts on receipts.
Now the whole country knows.
Constitution in one hand, kids in the other.
Angry citizen,
Tiff and the Punisher.
three loud mouths and
We ain't nearly done.
from Virginia heat.
To Maine, ice and
We
rain.
fight CPS corruption and we like the pain. Free America,
Stop the kidnapping game.
bring our kids home.
Put the system to shame.
Tiff and the Punisher.
With the angry citizen.
You wanted quiet families. You got a whole army
Instead,
still here,
still mad.
still free in America.
Still stopping the kidnapping of our kids.
Tiff and the Punisher.
With the angry citizen.
Ouch!
And yes, the cats are still judging. CPS.
Out!
Darren, Tiff, Tiffany.
Oh, week one. What's up, guys?
Tiffany. What does Tiffany get center stage?
Right. Why do you always
I don't
do
know.
that to me?
Wait a minute, Dana. Third week in a row. We're gonna have to explain this. The show is called the Tiff
Oh,
and
God.
the Punisher Show.
Okay. Well,
I mean, granted, it didn't come up on the chats this time. I was just
then it would be you and her equally, but she is very, very prominently displayed up front.
I know,
Oh.
and he does that to me all the time, and I don't like that.
Wait, with this. Oh.
It's the Tiffany show. And on a good day, you will have some support cast like the CPS Punisher and the Angry Citizen. Oh, look, he's put me up front. Check this out. Check this out. Hold that. Hold that thought. Hold it.
Yes.
Watch
Now
this,
it's the-
bro.
Yes.
Watch this.
Now it's
Someone
the
sent
angry
me a
Punisher.
package recently.
Yes. Let's see this. Let's see your package.
Oh, dude, I love it. I fucking love it. So I got
Yes.
I got this package. It was like this little brown envelope, and I opened it up. Guess what I found? Watch. You'll love this shit.
I'm
I love
excited.
it. Check it out. Angry citizen. Angry citizen.
It's upside, down.
Still upside down.
Eventually, I'll get it.
There it
There
is.
you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Whoa. Oh my God.
Yeah, there it is. So there it is, the angry citizen flag. Daniel Robinson, our guest,
The
is
best thing ever.
Right?
I look
Isn't it
so
great?
angry. Look at how you painted me. You know, here's a funny thing, Tiff. Think about this. So when this arrived,
Hold
when
tight,
this
Daniel,
arrived,
you're coming.
and I was confronted with, I opened up and I was like, I look so angry, like it's like this supernatural, you know. And hear me now, like God is my witness. I have been that angry. I have been like when they said the Epstein files were denied to us. This was me. Legit. Okay, this was what I was doing at that moment. I was like, I was so motherfucking angry, dude. Who the motherfucking hell are you to tell me that we don't have access to this information? Who the fuck are you to tell me I'm not allowed to know this? I'm not allowed to ask motherfucking questions? I'm not allowed? Who the fuck are you to tell me I'm not allowed? Who the goddamn motherfucking hell are you to tell me I'm not allowed? I'm in charge. I own you. You work for me, you fucking assholes. You work for me. You work for us.
Did you realize that you made him a freaking one of those things? What do they call those?
What?
What do they call those dolls that you move the mouth?
A plushie? What? No.
Oh,
when you make it talk, like you were just making your flag talk.
Right, like a ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist. What do they call the ventriloquist thing? Puppet.
A puppet.
All right. So listen, guys. Here's what's going to happen here tonight. We've got our good friend Daniel here, who's hiding and being hidden for his life.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
He has a ton of information for us. We know you guys.
Yeah,
have been
we need to talk to him.
For those of you that have been following us and know what's going on. So what we're going to do tonight is, since Tiff was late and so on, we're going to continue on with the Tiff and the Punisher show as normal, but Daniel is going to be included in the show with us. So we'll talk about the things that we talk about. Now, when
bring him
in
right away,
when
bro.
we close the show, we're going to have a special edition show that will continue on, and then we're going to go into Daniel pretty much teaching everybody and letting everybody know his entire drop, everything that needs to be said, the information. He's going to go through his slides. He's going to go through everything that we've talked about.
Yeah, do that.
So you guys have at least a half hour to 45 minutes to reach out, tell your friends about this, tell the people that think that New World Order and all this stuff is conspiracy, all of this crap, that you want to see the proof that all of this and the corruption is real and is going on. Contact your friends right now, because we got like 30 to 45 minutes, like I said, and then it's going to be Daniel, no holds barred, all systems go, launch this thing. So any of you that are watching that never have heard and been seen and shown how true corruption in this country, especially towards our children, has worked, you gotta stay tuned and watch this, because this guy's got it licked. The only other thing that I wish that I could even bring close to this was to bring our friend Fostering Reality in and see if he could talk with Daniel in tonight's episode too. And I'm going to try to attempt to reach him and see if he may be able to pull an event, because I think between Daniel and D-Man, I think that we could have ourselves knock down, throw down,
drag
push
out
them and smash them in the damn face and shut this thing down type of system with these two guys, man. So anyway,
bring him in, bro.
Let's have Daniel come on in. Don't forget,
Come on
guys.
in,
He's in
Daniel.
a whole nother world down there. And listen, we can make light of things, we can joke about things, but the threats on his life, the hiding, all of this stuff
Very,
that's going
very
on
real.
is very real.
Very
Right?
real.
Yep. It's true to. It's true.
Daniel, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
So
So,
nice to see you guys again.
yes.
so
Go
what
ahead,
I'm gonna
Tiff.
do, is you don't have to restart the show. I'll just jump off, and then you just continue.
Right. But we're
Roger.
gonna do our stuff first. We're gonna do like our show. Talk about
But
whatever.
he can talk too.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he will.
Roger that. Thank you, Tiff.
But we're not
We'll
gonna.
get back
We
to
won't
when
go
we can.
into. We won't go into his
Right.
charts and stuff. We're just gonna continue on with like we normally would do for Tiff and the Punisher show.
Right.
Yeah, let's.
And then when
That's
you kick
fine.
out,
Bring
when
on
you
our
kick
guest.
out, you kick out, then we will. We'll continue with the Daniel stuff. But Daniel,
Yeah.
what's up, buddy?
Bring on our guest, Daniel. Go ahead, bro. You got
Chilling.
the stage.
Chilling here in South America.
What's the temperature down there in South America?
You know, I don't actually know because it's in Celsius.
Is it hotter than hell? Tolerable?
No, you know, right now
I'm
I'm in the southern part of South America, so I'm actually kind of cold. So I don't want to give away exactly where I am, but I'm far away from the equator. So I'm far below the equator. So many, probably 1,000+ miles.
Have you been to the equator?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nifty. Does human trafficking cross the equator? Do we see like more stuff? Because I hear a lot about the equator and a lot of the crazy things, the magnetisms and all of that stuff does with the earth. Is there a lot of trafficking and people seeking refuge around the equator area?
Oh, absolutely. No, it's huge. If you look at the equator, a lot of the human trafficking happens around the equator. If you look in like the Middle East, around North Africa and the Mediterranean, if you look up above the equator in North America, South America, the northern part of South America, up there where Venezuela and Colombia are, where they head up through the Central America to try and get to the U.S. Tons of human trafficking happens there. If you look in Southeast Asia, tons and tons of human trafficking over there. So a lot of the human trafficking happens around the equator. I mean, I don't know why that is. It just happens to be that way.
Right. What do you know about? So, and I know we're not going to get in. I don't want to get into the meat and potatoes about things, but what do you know about CPS and their involvement with international child trafficking?
Well, we'd have to get into the meat and potato of things, right? But what it comes down to is CPS What it comes down to is CPS is just another arm of the worldwide traffickers who are using the court system to traffic our children, the same way they would use cartels to traffic children in South America, or use terrorist organizations to traffic women and children in the Middle East. It's no different as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of the people working for CPS are just that, terrorists.
Right.
I mean, they use guns. They use guns. Yeah, they use guns just like the people in the Middle East do.
Right.
They use the police when you don't comply. Right. So they're terrorists as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And up until the point that Dana was here, we all use different words like taken, stolen, yada, yada, yada. And then we really started, Dana had really built into us to use the word kidnap, and which we pretty much hold dear to now, is that word kidnap. Like that's CPS didn't take our kids, they didn't steal our kids, they kidnapped our kids.
Yeah,
they do. No, it's no different. It's no different than what they
to understand, if I may interject one thing here. So if the people that come against you and try to take your children away from you are claiming that they are honoring the law, then the truth is they either are honoring the law or they're not. As I have discussed with Darren many times, the supposed law, I'm not arguing about whether it's valid, but rather that the law that we are presented with tells us that if a person is going to, quote unquote, take, I hate that word, I hate it, take, they're going to take your child, right? Take, but whatever it is, whether it's kidnap or take, right? They claim they have lawful authority to do this because the law has been honored, and that they are claiming that your child is in imminent danger of harm, right? That is what they claim. And we, the people, have to anchor ourselves in fact and claim that I do not accept their authority in the first place. But even if I did, they would have to prove that their claim is valid. Either your child is in imminent harm and they can show you that and prove it, or your child is not in imminent harm.
Well,
and if your child is not in danger of imminent harm,
and all those laws are a bunch of crap.
Take away that child from you, they are kidnapping your child. That's the truth.
Absolutely, and if you actually look at the laws themselves, the majority of them are in violation of our Constitution and the federal laws in which they were based off of. If you look at the Child Abuse and Prevention Treatment Act, which I argued in my Supreme Court case.
Separate subject, but I agree with you. You are correct.
No,
that's a separate subject, but
so
very valid.
The states, they based those laws off of the Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act. But if you look at the Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act, which I've read the entire thing and argued it in my Supreme Court case, it actually says in the Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act that the states must follow the Constitution and must follow federal law, and they don't. So when the states enact those illegal laws saying that your child is in imminent danger and harm, they remove the portion of the Child Abuse and Prevention Treatment Act that states that they must follow the Constitution and must follow federal law. So the laws that they've enacted are in fact illegal. So they're not valid. They're not real laws.
Agreed. I completely agree with you. And I re-emphasize here that we do not disagree on this. Okay, these are two separate things. If they come at you claiming their authority is valid, it is demonstrably false. And at the end of the day, their authority, they claim, is not valid because it violates the Constitution.
Absolutely.
So here's what Black's Law, this is Black's Law kidnapping definition. At common law, the forcible abduction or stealing and carrying away of a person from own country to another, all right? The unlawful seizure and removal of a person from own country or state against his will. In America, the intent to send the victim does not constitute a necessary part of the offense. The unlawful taking and carrying away of a human being by force or fraud or threats or intimidation and against his will being the essential elements. At common law, kidnapping, it was a misdemeanor, but under the modern statutes, such crime is a felony. 18 U.S.C. A number 1201.
As it should be.
If he is unlawfully removes another from his place of residence or business or substantial distance from the vicinity where he is found, or if he is unlawfully confines another for a substantial period in a place of isolation with any of the following purposes: to hold for ransom or reward, or a shield or a hostage, to facilitate commission of any felony or flight thereafter, to inflict body injury or terrorize the victim or another, to interfere with the performance of any governmental or political function. Model Penal Code number 2121. So those are the things that
100% valid. So to our viewers, I want to point out, I am not disagreeing. This is critical for you to understand. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying these are two separate issues. When the agents show up and claim authority, you can invalidate them merely on the fact that their claim is false. They're saying imminent harm. Show me imminent harm or admit you don't have it. Okay. Number two, they cannot do this in any way because it is a violation of our Constitution.
Mm-hmm. But as we know,
I'm standing firm on that.
But as we know, see, this is what's so strange and so abstract and so just disheartening and concerning about CPS is this. If me and Tiffany are in a relationship and we have a child, the police show up, they heard yelling, they heard all this stuff, they break the law, they already go over the sidewalk from the curbage, they come to the door, you hear the yelling, all this stuff, and we say that we're fighting over which one of us are going to have our child this weekend. You know what the cops are going to say?
What
are the cops going to say?
What?
They're going to say
it's a civil matter. Take it to court.
Right. You're in the wrong jurisdiction. You're in the wrong jurisdiction.
Yep.
We can do nothing for you.
Yep.
But now we are in a country where because some caseworker who doesn't know jack shit about anything can call up these police officers, gain their jurisdiction to come to that home, not only recommend what happens to this child, but forcibly grab them and remove them.
Yep. Kidnap.
But when it's two children, when it's two parents fighting over this, they have no jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
They have no problems there. They have nothing there.
Because we, the people, have taken a back seat. That our rights.
No, it's because they don't get paid. It's because they don't get paid. So when they come to the two parents who are fighting over, whose weekend it is, they're not going to make any money off of that. That's why they send you the family court system, which is where they make money off of that disagreement and that argument through all their service providers and through the court system. So the police don't get paid to settle a dispute between two parents over whose weekend it is. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the law. It has to do with money.
Right.
When you go to the court system,
We've always known that I mean, there's no reason that all of us, Tiffany's been fighting for 30 something years, this system, and she knows the Constitution better than, I don't even know what, but better than most. And she's tried to inflict these things on them. She's tried to file these things on them. She's screamed to the top of the mountains these things on them, and it doesn't work because they don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Yes, because they don't get paid. And so, I called the detective. I called the detective at the Hilo, Hawaii Police Department not too long ago, and I wanted to file some charges against my ex-wife. And I spoke with the detective, and I argued the law with him. And he's like, "Well, I can't do this, and I can't do that." And I'm like, "But show me where it says that in the law that you can't do this or you can't do that." And he's like, I can't show you in the law. And if you have a problem with that, you need to take it up with the Attorney General, with the state Attorney General.
Yep.
And I mean, what it comes down to though is they're not making any money. They only do it if they can make money off of it.
You are right.
And that comes, and I don't want to get into this right now, but that comes from what? It comes from no true bill or a true bill. Like there's those things back too. But nonetheless, it's about the money. It's about the fact that reunification for 15 out of 22 months is going to be what they sell you, even though that's not it. So they draft the Title IV funds that they match that way for 15 out of 22 months. And then they suddenly tell you, you know what, this isn't working. We're going to TPR you. We're switching this. Now their funds change from reunification to permanency. And then once permanency, that's a short, brief period of time. I believe it's like 3 or 4 months that they get the money for that. And then it turns to their incentivized adoption because now they've gone for the TPRs and that stuff. So out of all of it, it's 2 years. It's 2 years of very easy to show how this system is going to work, how it's going to work for you. Like we said the other day, Tiff and I had to come to Jesus with all of our listeners. We said, listen, we're sorry to tell you this, but if CPS has your children, the chances are you're not getting them back. Yeah. You're not getting them back until at least...
Which is why we need to start exercising our Second Amendment rights. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I agree with that. But it's not until you get to your appeals process that you actually even stand a chance of using Constitution, Bill of Rights, all of these cases that everybody so gracefully talks of. None of it matters.
And that's if you're in a state. That's if you're in a state that actually follows the law to some degree. in the state of Hawaii, they still don't care in the appeals court and in the state Supreme Court. I know that because I've been to both of them multiple times. And in both cases, they used illegal civil law to outweigh your constitutional rights, which is, a violation of the law. So it's just
Hawaii is the most obviously unconstitutional state in the union. I know this. I've had exposure to that particular issue. So you are absolutely correct. It is absolutely reprehensible, and we the people need to unite and demand accountability. Absolutely. Hawaii is on the forefront, dude. I have several podcasts on my live stream YouTube about Hawaii, about Lahaina, and everyone in America should see them because Hawaii is almost the epicenter of America.
The Hawaii State Supreme Court just recently told the U.S. Supreme Court to go take a leap. I mean, they're openly and blatantly saying we don't follow the Constitution. I mean, the state Supreme Court is literally telling the U.S. Supreme Court, we don't care what you say. We don't care what your laws are, what your presidents are. We're going to do what we want.
Hold them accountable.
But they all have always said that, and that's why we tell everybody and we emphasize so much to use them. If you're going to use the Constitution, use your state's Constitution against them. Because
they don't even follow their own Constitution. In the state of Hawaii, they don't even follow. In the state of Hawaii, they don't even follow the state Constitution.
Yeah, and
they don't care. They just do whatever they want.
Hawaii, the people of Hawaii need to come together and hold them accountable for that, and they will or they won't. That's the truth.
But how many people are in Hawaii? I mean, 10.
No, there's like 1.2 million.
As constitutional Americans and say we are constitutional Americans, and we insist.
The problem with that is the people of Hawaii are a very agreeable people.
All of their elected servants.
Yeah, no, I mean the problem.
Go ahead, Daniel.
The problem with Hawaii is it's a Pacific island. So they have aloha, they have kindness and respect, and they have a different culture than the mainlanders do, and the politicians know that, and so they use the fact that a lot of at least half the state is Pacific Islander, and they don't like to show anger, and they don't like to fight the government because it's not part of their culture, I think, as much as it is on the mainland where people, I grew up in Northern California in the redwoods on the Oregon coast, and I mean, yeah, we're all about going out in the mountains and shooting guns and going four-wheeling and having bonfires, and it's just a complete different culture and a complete different attitude in Hawaii, and it's not bad. It's actually wonderful if you're there. For the people are wonderful. They're amazing people. They're kind people. They're loving people. But the politicians use that against them.
Yes.
So
that's terrible. And such a sold out state. Like, people don't realize how many tragedies have taken place in Hawaii either. Like, those people are like sewn together by the heart. Like, so many tragedies have taken place that they've all had to mend and grow together.
Yeah. Look at Lahaina.
Yeah. I mean, there's many things that can be said for sure. And, like, how do you take that away from a people? Like, they're their own. I understand why they wouldn't take the Constitution over there, because I would think that Hawaii is like, screw all of you. You're how many hundreds of miles away? You don't know what we need here. This is not, a division of England or whatever.
Yeah.
This is Hawaii, man. I mean, why they're not just like, go away from the United States?
They need the same things. They need the same things that every one of us needs, which is a strict adherence to our Constitution and our rule of law and accountability and transparency, and all of us need that.
I mean, I go ahead. I think the island of Hawaii was stolen from the native Hawaiians. And I really think that the native Hawaiian people themselves, not the politicians, I really think the native Hawaiian people had a lot of stuff right. With their aloha and with their community and with their way of life. And I mean, I don't know.
Agreed.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say
No.
that the biggest problem is that people fear the government, right? I mean, there's
Yes.
quite a few of us who do not, and we will take
Yes.
that stand.
Yes.
But people feel like it's too big to take on.
Scared.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. But here's the problem. If we as Americans don't stand up and say, you all did it wrong, we submitted, we want our government back, and we have the right to do that, you all are supposed to be submissive to us, then we need to tear you down and rebuild you for our purposes and what we need.
Hell yeah. And we have a right to do that. And it's enshrined in our Constitution that if you are not serving our purpose, we have every right to take you down, disassemble you, and assemble. Thank you, Darren. Like, you have a duty. You have a duty.
Right.
And now, honestly, I don't even think that we need to disassemble it, though. I think we just need to follow the law that is there. I mean, the Constitution was pretty perfectly written. What's happened is, all these, a lot of these states have added on to subverted the will of the people with a lot of illegal laws. And it was done purposely. I mean, we're in an actual war for our country right now. People don't understand it yet. We'll talk about it later.
Right. 100% agree.
Daniel, what's the CPS presence in Hawaii? What's that like? Tell us about that over there.
Oh, it's massive. It's huge. It's huge. And I mean no, it's massive. Yeah, no, the Department of Health and Human Services in Hawaii, their budget takes up like a third of the state budget, or maybe it's 20% of the state budget. They're getting better. Since I've started this fight, not just me, but other advocates in Hawaii. There's a group called the Malama Ohana Working Group. I'm not affiliated with them. I have to make that clear. They don't like me at all because I'm too radical for them, and that's okay. But there's a lot of people that are fighting back because the state of Hawaii is a welfare state. A huge portion of their.
What do you mean that the state of Hawaii is a welfare state?
Yeah, good question. Qualify that.
Well, a huge portion of their budget comes from the federal government. So there's two sides to Hawaii, right? There's two sides to Hawaii. There's the beautiful beaches that they try and show you and they use for tourism, because tourism is like 1/3 of their income. But the other side, the real side, the people that live there, they have a completely different experience. Yes, we get to go to the beach sometimes, but the majority of the people that are living there, the normal people like me and you, are working 2-3 jobs and don't have time to go to the beach. And what it comes down to is the CPS system in Hawaii is it's massive. And I mean, it's just ridiculous because it's not just the CPS system. In Hawaii, it's the CPS system, it's the housing system, it's the medical system. It's all intertwined into one big system. So it's not just CPS.
With mandated reporting, it's all becoming intertwined anyway. Because anybody.
Well, no, it's not just mandated reporting. They've actually created laws now that they actually meet with each other on a weekly basis.
That's what those MOUs are all about, that backup points out and all of that stuff. And those have been around for quite some time too.
And so the police, the housing, the medical, CPS, they get together and they throw big parties together. They get together and they have big fundraisers. I mean, it's all one system. So the CPS system is not just a CPS system in Hawaii. It's the entire government.
That's why I threw in that whole mandated reporting thing, because now you're getting institutions or persons that were never ever involved in a CPS case with anything to do with a child. Like your auto body shop technician now is a mandated reporter. What the hell is that? Where's this guy's credentials to say that this child's being abused? And they're being told that if they don't tell on you, and I'm not saying that this is a real thing, I'm just joking around about that part. Yeah. But they're being told by the government, hey, if you don't call us up and tell us when, you know, the lady that's getting a new tire slaps her kid in the face, then we're going to penalize you, Mr. Tire Technician, for not reporting.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true.
Guys are forced to do it. So like they're making this huge network of tattletales, you know, from all aspects of life that they shouldn't be involved in the CPS system, but they're putting them in there. And not only are
they doing that, but because of corrupt Governor Green, who works for Mark Benioff, who's one of the board of directors of the World Economic Forum, corrupt Governor Green and some of the other Hawaii politicians have created what they call shield laws, which stop anybody who is part of the system or anybody who makes those reports from being sued. So a secretary for that, you know, mechanic who calls in a something that she believes is harm, not even abuse. Like, let's not say that, you know, she saw some mother slap her child, which is justifiably, you know, iffy, who knows what was going on there. But, you know, let's say a secretary for the mechanic calls CPS and says, you know, I think this person is abusing their kid, then that secretary can't get sued, can't get in trouble for doing that, even if they're doing it out of ill intent. There's actually a case where one of the people that I was working with originally 3 years ago, her neighbor didn't like her, just didn't like her. And so her neighbor called CPS and reported child abuse. And then CPS came and took the kid away and gave her child to the neighbor, not to some, you know, foster care system or not to somebody else, but the neighbor got the kid. And so then she had to spend 2 years fighting to get her kid back and proving that she was innocent. And so nothing ever happened to that neighbor for destroying this woman's life.
They're trying to work on those things.
What's that?
They're trying to work on that aspect. See, I'm all about abolishment. I don't think you can put a Band-Aid on this anywhere, and I don't even think you can build a bridge on this thing anywhere. I think this thing needs to just be destroyed, and then the people of the United States will take it up. They'll coddle their young like they're supposed to, take care of their young like they're supposed to, and move on. Now, there's not a lot of people that feel like that. What cracks me up is...
No, when it comes to CPS, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, when it comes to CPS, I absolutely agree with you.
There's these people that will sit there and argue that, and they'll be like, well, what about the kids that are actually being abused and neglected? What, the 2%? The 2% that are out there that, you know, that number is vitally small when you actually take it and look at it in comparison to even people that get the flu every year. Because you're dealing with false numbers right now of 400,000 kids in foster care per year. Right? And what is 2% of 400,000?
If I may offer here that the tiny minority of children who are deeply needing help don't get it. Here in Maine, there were at least 3 deaths of children who were viciously beaten to death by their parents with CPS not intervening. They had time to go steal Darren's child from him, but they did not have the time to protect the 3 or 4 that were genuinely in need, that really needed someone to come save them from these horrible, abusive parents. CPS was not fucking there.
Well, that goes back to what I said all these years. They are not going to remove children who are really being abused and neglected because they can't sell them to the highest bidder. They're damaged goods.
Damaged goods. That's right. 100%. Just like they give the child back to the abuser.
And so, something I was gonna tell you when you brought up that statistic, 400,000 kids in foster care. So what I'll discuss soon when we go through my slides is I discovered earlier this week that they actually, this is a worldwide event. So there's actually an organization called the International Society of Family Law, and I was looking into them, and they run through their guidelines and policies and procedures that they put out in an annual booklet, family court systems in 68 different countries. 68 different countries. Most of South America, China, India, a lot of Southeast Asia. And so if you think about that, if we look at the statistics, so there's like, last time we spoke, there's like, you know, close to 30 million people involved in this system, the dependency courts, the family courts, foster care. That's about 10% of America. So if you expand that on a worldwide level to these 68 other countries that are also having the same problem that we're having, that people just don't understand or don't know, which we'll talk about later, we're not looking at, you know, 30 million Americans. We're looking at like 500 million people that are experiencing this on a worldwide level. That's something we'll talk about later. I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring that up real quick. The numbers are much bigger than what we have discussed up until this point.
Yes, they are. Yes, they absolutely. And the numbers that we see are completely false. Like me and Tiff, one night we took it as so much because we would, every couple months we will put it in check, you know, and we get the child a minute saying, the one that we talk about, that comes, all you have to do is do your own math with what they say the national statistics are, and you get that. You know what I mean? Like, it's very simple. But anyway, what we're talking about here is just such a small, minute amount of children that actually need and would require services from CPS, that there's no reason that we as parents in this country couldn't come up with small community groups or whatever to handle business. We don't need a government group coming out and trying to infiltrate our systems again about how to raise a child. It doesn't need to happen.
No, of course not. But I mean, that's part of the what we'll talk about later. It has nothing to do with what people need. It's part of the new surveillance state that they're instituting around the world in order to crack down on the populations, take control of the populations. But that's something we'll discuss a little later. It has nothing to do with what we need or what the kids need. It has to do with what the billionaires want and what they're trying to do to us as a population as a whole. Hey, no, get off my seat. Hey, move. Sorry, I'm outside in the rain. It's pouring down here in South America, and
good.
The only internet connection I have is under a small yawning. Huh?
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Did you just get muscled out of your chair?
No, one of the local dogs came and sat on my chair when I stood up, and so I had to move the dog off my chair so I have a place to sit.
I don't mean to laugh, but Jesus.
Sorry. No, yeah.
Darren.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna jump off because the baby's crying. Continue
right.
the show. I'm gonna try and watch it. And thank you for coming on again, Daniel, and be safe. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday.
All right, you guys. I'm actually gonna let's do a quick 4-minute break. Let's do a 4-minute break. I'm gonna play a video real quick, and then we'll come back. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. Everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back. So don't leave when you see this stuff playing. Just sit tight, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody. So stay tuned for the good stuff.
I'm just your average parent trying to do right by my kids. Never thought I'd have to, deal with something like this. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon. The kids' toys were scattered everywhere. Then there was a knock at the door. My heart sank when I saw who it was.
Hello, I'm from Child Protective Services. We've received a report and need to inspect your home.
I didn't know what to do. They wanted to come in, look around, talk to my kids. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was doing something wrong even though I knew I wasn't. But then, I remembered something I'd read online about knowing your rights. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but unless you have a warrant, I can't let you in." The CPS worker looked surprised. They weren't used to parents knowing their rights. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground. I protected my family's privacy that day. Remember, when CPS knocks, know your rights. It can make all the difference.
Maine? The way life should have been. You cross the bridge on 95 and something shifts. The air changes. The world slows down. This is the land that built legends. Where Joshua Chamberlain held the line at Little Round Top and saved a nation. Where Stephen King dreamed up our darkest fears from a Victorian mansion on a quiet street. Where Paul Bunyan still stands tall in Bangor, watching over a city that once roared with industry. Where Belgrade lakes shimmer gold at sunset. Where the Nubble Lighthouse has guided sailors home for over a century. Where Katahdin rises above it all, from first light to last. But something happened to Maine. Funtown is silent now. The lobster boats rot in the harbor. The streets of Portland are lined with tents. And thousands of Maine families have been torn apart. Not by tragedy, but by a system that profits from their pain. The money keeps flowing. The budgets keep growing. And the people of Maine keep asking, what happened to the way life should have been? Maine is crashing. And just like that B-24 that went down over Katahdin, nobody is coming to pull it out of the wreckage. Maine's Child Protective Services has been breaking apart families at a concerning level. And no one is paying attention. Until it's too late. Maine. We are more than too late. We have destroyed our next generation by kidnapping the very children who were meant to carry the Maine heritage forward. The children of lobstermen and loggers, of farmers and fishermen, of teachers and tradespeople. Gone. Ripped from the families that built this state.
Holy shit, I just had that whole spew and none of it was even said out loud. Correct? No one heard me, did you? So what I said was this. Please make sure that tomorrow night you guys check out Maine Matters with Dana and I. Just because the show is about Maine, make sure that you watch it, because it doesn't mean that you can't and won't understand what the situations are, because all of the situations that we've talked about up until now can be used in your situations if you're from a different state as well. They're all very, very similar situations, if not the same situation in every one of these states. So make sure that you guys check it out. Tell a friend, tell all kinds of people about it. We're excited to do it, and I know that that's that. But for now, we are back with the Tiff and Punisher show with an Angry Citizen. We got Jim Brabson here with us, and we also have our brand new, really good friend, Danny Robinson boy, back here, and he's about ready to tell us listen, guys, get the popcorn, get a soda, pack cigarettes, tell the neighbor to don't pound on the door, tell the babysitter, stay a little bit longer, watch the kids, whatever you got to do to get your undevoted attention for the next 45 minutes to an hour. I suggest that you highly do it. If you're serious about finding out about what is going on in this whole country, this whole world, the kidnapping of children and how it relates and all that, then I suggest that you get ready because you're about to learn it now. So tell everybody, shut it down. You need to learn some real stuff here. So Daniel, how are we, my friend?
Hey, how are you?
We're good.
Good to see you again.
Welcome back. Good to see you. Yes. I'm hoping that Becca here is right here with the charts. I believe that she is. But Daniel, we're gonna start this as like not a refresher, but a refresher. Why don't you just start this like I'm a 3-year-old that just learned about what you're gonna say, and we start right from here.
All right. Before I start this, I want to say a couple things. One, I'm not against the central banking system. I am against corruption and the corrupt individuals using it, and you'll understand why I say that in just a little while. Two, I am a constitutionalist, and I believe in our country and I believe in our constitution. I'm fighting for our government. I've spent the past 20 years doing research on corruption around the world and everything I'm about to tell you, and I've seen it firsthand in countries all over the world. And through that, I put together the 10 slides that we're going to go through here in a couple minutes. And I'm trying to educate the public on how to fight back and how to take their lives and their children back, and give them an education on exactly what is happening, so they understand on a fundamental level who exactly it is they're fighting. And with that said, I also spent 20 years building a life. And when I was 20 years old, I went to a mental hospital, and I was declared mentally incompetent. And after that, after I got out of the mental hospital, I decided I wanted to make change, and I wanted to fight the system, and I wanted to make worldwide change, which is why I spent the next 20 years doing research on the system. But after I got out of the mental hospital, I learned how to control my symptoms, and I learned how to live a normal life. And I went to college, became a nurse. I spent 10 years going to university. I had 2 associate's degrees, one in biology, one in nursing, a bachelor's degree in nursing, and I spent 3 years going to family nurse practitioner school, becoming a family nurse practitioner. And I spent 3 years traveling the world as a human rights and activist and a humanitarian, and a short time working as a Christian missionary. So it wasn't until I hit the family court system that I had some issues with the system, and I had my children ripped away from me illegally. But in the 2 years I fought the family court system, even as a mentally incompetent man, I was found to be a fit parent by a judge himself, who said in court on the record that I am a fit father who deserves to have custody of my kids. And I actually beat a restraining order that my ex filed against me that was nothing but false allegations. I had a trial for that, and I was found innocent of any wrongdoing with prejudice, meaning she couldn't file the restraining order against me again. And it wasn't until I filed my second U.S. Supreme Court case exposing everything that I'm about to tell you, that 2 weeks after I did that, they illegally filed another restraining order against me based on false allegations. And then they dragged me across the courtroom half naked and threw me in a jail cell to try and punish me for exposing all this. And that's when I left the country, and I've spent the past year and a half living in South America, living deep in the Amazon rainforest for most of it, living with indigenous tribes and living in small towns, hiding from the U.S. government in Hawaii, based on 3 years worth of threats to my life and threats to my children, and being told that I was going to be thrown in a volcano, and being told that my children were going to be put in foster care and raped and abused and murdered, and having my career destroyed and having my life destroyed. So With that said, everything I'm about to tell you, I've actually used this information to get results. So in the past 3 years I've been fighting this fight, the number of children taken from their families has dropped by 60%. And that's not just because of me, that's other people in Hawaii who are fighting the system too. But the state of Hawaii used to take about a
That's a Hawaii
That's a
number?
Hawaii number. Yeah, Hawaii. The Department of Health and Human Services in Hawaii, the Child Welfare Services, CPS, they were taking on average about 1,000 kids per year, and that number was growing every year by about 100. And since I took up this fight, along with others, of course, not just me, Hawaii this past year only took 400 kids from their families.
Congratulations on that, man.
So, yeah, well, it's not just me; it's a whole group of people that are fighting the system
but
in
you're
Hawaii.
part of that group. You're part of that group.
Yeah, we're part of that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recently I was debanked, and because I'm exposing this information about the banking system, and they took my bank account away and put me in a really bad situation for a couple of weeks. And so I sent I'm not going to tell you which bank it was, but I found the email address of the board of directors of the chief legal officer that sits on the board of directors of my bank, which is an international bank. It's a massive bank. And I sent that chief legal officer an email telling him, hey, look, you guys are going to debank me, then I'm going to essentially shut down your bank and get your board of directors arrested for insider trading. And within a couple days, I was contacted by the bank who now wants to clear up all the issues and get me back on track. So this information that I'm about to give you actually works. I've used it myself. I actually got a judge reprimanded in the state of Hawaii for exposing her corruption. And they wrote an article about me in the Civil Beat about a Judge Mahalani Hyatt, who was on the board of directors of a service provider, the Children's Law Project of East Hawaii, that took children from their families. And she was reprimanded by the the Commission for Judicial Conduct in the state of Hawaii. So everything I'm about to tell you is information that I've used and techniques that I've used to make changes in my state in Hawaii. And go ahead.
This is cool. This is cool because we all sit around and we squawk box and talk about what could we do, what can we try. These the things that you're about ready to tell everybody have been. I'm not going to say that they're 100% foolproof and tested, but they have been tested. They have been used. They have some level of success to them. So people can go ahead and take this and use it to their advantage. Of course, always research. Don't take his word for it. Don't take my word for it. Go look at it yourself, figure it out. Do what you got to do. Don't take it as is, any information that anybody ever gives you. But this is, we're saying,
absolutely.
This has proof, So
yeah, no, research everything I'm about to tell you. I've spent 4,000 hours researching it. So, I mean, I know it to be true, but everything I'm about to say, go look it up. Don't just take my word for it. I mean, you can see all this stuff. It's all public information if you know how to find it and know where to find it. But I mean, like I had 11 different judges recuse themselves from my cases. As far as I know, I've never heard of another parent who's had 11 judges recuse themselves from the case. I mean, it's got to be some kind of record because of this information that I'm presenting, because the judges didn't want anything to do with me because I'm exposing their corruption. So this information works, though. With that said, if you want to get into it, I have a set of 10 slides that I put together with the help of another parental rights advocate. And those 10 slides, they show you exactly what I'm talking about and how to use that information and what exactly it is that we are fighting as a group. And if you want to start with the first slide, we'll start at the bottom, which is, family court, and CPS and the people that we are fighting individually on a day-to-day basis. Can you pull up that first slide?
Yeah, I'm waiting for, I believe that, did you not send them to our lady Becca there, right?
I did. She said she sent them to you on your messenger.
Okay, so I thought she was going to handle that for him. All right, hold on one second. That's my bad here. I was busy doing something else at the time. So here we go.
And I apologize if I look away from this slide. I'm in South America with a really bad internet connection in a rainstorm at the moment, hiding under a cover, yawning. So if I put the phone close to my ear, it's because I'm trying to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
If I turn away, it's because I'm trying to get out of the rain.
Okay, she did not send me those, but I think someone just came in here. Who came in here? Jennifer's here. All right, Jen's here. But Jen, is that you coming in? That's secondly. Here, right.
Yeah.
All right, let me find out what the hell's going on here. Jesus Christ, this is the stuff that I hate. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me get a hold of
Well, I know that you have the first 9 slides that I created.
One, so let's go to. We can get going on this anyway, right? Let me see here. I can share. I can put the photos up here. Okay, here we go. What's the first one going to be, Daniel? Just fresh in my head here.
The first one is the diamond.
The diamond.
Diamond looking one.
Let me pull up your folder here. Daniel, my brother.
So what it comes down to, I'll start talking about it while you're pulling it up.
Yep,
is we're not actually fighting the court system. We're not actually fighting judges. We're not actually fighting lawyers or gals. We're not actually fighting CPS. We are fighting those individually. They are the bottom of the barrel. They are the ones who are committing the crimes, stealing our children. There you go. You got it. But essentially, the family court system, the entire system, the lawyers, the gals, CPS, the judge, they all work for what they call community foundations. So there's in every major city, every state, every small state has one, and larger states have like 30 to 40 of them. They have what they call community foundation trusts. And these community foundation trusts, they are, I guess, what you would call the shadow government, for lack of a better word, that actually control the government and control the government actors. And if you look at these community foundation trusts, what you'll find is the board of directors of every community foundation trust, which are billion-dollar organizations or multi-billion-dollar organizations, on the board of every directors is the CEO of the banks in your state or in your city. So every community foundation trust will have the 2 or 3 CEOs of the banks, as well as 2 or 3 people that run the largest real estate companies. And if you look at how the system works, what happens is these bankers and these real estate companies, CEOs and executives, they're actually the ones that run the government. They're actually the ones that run the politicians. They're the ones who run the courts. And if you look at them, if you look at the flow of money, it's all about the flow of money, from the lawyers to the gals to the judges to the court system itself to CPS. All the money eventually flows into trust funds that these CEOs of these community foundations control. And so if you look at the diamond, you'll see that essentially the court system is just a pipeline for stealing our money, stealing our kids, stealing our houses, stealing our finances through child support. And they use these different organizations, starting with, I'm sorry, I can't see too well because my screen is so small. Can you go up the diamond for me?
Yeah, where do you want to begin at here? I'm trying to figure out. I know I should be able to scroll it here. Hold on a minute.
I mean, so start at the bottom and just read the different levels going up to the top.
Okay, so we've got court actors, number 1.
Yeah, which are the judges, the gals. The bottom, the court. So the court actors are the judges, the gals, the CPS workers, the lawyers, and then the next level up
is the court actors, and then that's where we're at next.
Yeah.
Which we did.
And then the next one,
nonprofits.
Yeah, so then you have the nonprofit organizations, which are all controlled by the Community Foundation Trust. which are all your child custody evaluators. They're your divorce psychologists, domestic violence programs, anger management, drug diversion, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are all controlled by the community trust at the top.
Okay. And then you go to the state funding.
Yeah, then you have the state funding, which is all your court programs, your federal grants to the states, your SNAP and HUD and housing and all that stuff that the courts tell you that you need to go get and get enrolled in and be a part of. And then above that, you have the federal funding, right? Yeah, and so that is all the federal funding that flows through the Federal Health and Human Services for the for various programs such as the domestic violence providers to the community, the nonprofit organizations, the HUD which pays for all those nonprofits organizations, rents and leases on all their buildings for all the programs they run. Then all your Department of Justice grants for court improvement programs and for the sheriffs, and then there's one or two more. I can't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Then it goes to university. Wait, we did the state funding.
And then it goes to the university. So
right.
Yeah. So the university are what they call the sub-recipients. So the universities are the ones who actually get the money for the state grants from the federal government, and then they put it into trust funds in the banks of the CEOs that run the Community Foundation Trust. And then from there, it gets distributed to the various nonprofit organizations and the various court actors. But if you look at the flow of money from where we are at the bottom in the court system all the way to the top, everything, every part of it flows eventually into the Community Foundation Trust and into the banks of the CEOs that run those trust funds. So it's just a pipeline of money. It has nothing to do with our rights. It has nothing to do with laws. It's just
So at the end of the day, everything goes to the Community Foundation Trust.
Correct. And at the end of the day, it goes into the banks of the CEOs that run those Community Foundation Trusts, which get paid handsomely by the various nonprofit organizations for handling their money.
So that top tier, is that top tier the Community Foundation Trust? Is that what we
that top tier is the Community Foundation Trust, correct?
Right, but is that what we dare say call like the Rockefellers and these different groups, these different elite groups that are out there that are controlling everything?
Well, that's them at a local level. So, I mean, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, they control all this, but they control it on an international level. At the community level, community level, it's controlled by individual trusts that are eventually controlled by them. Yes.
So, because I just want to clarify for everybody that's watching here, the way that this board is set up. So you're saying that the foundation where the money starts, the families go into the courts, and then some way or another, the money trickles to these actors that are at the bottom. Then how does this money, then this money is used by going to the services that they're telling you, all these people together that combine say, oh, they need this, they need anger management, they need this. So now that money flows into this, the services that you are to take care of to get your children back, right? And then
correct
their money,
which is all funded by the federal government.
Right. So this is where I get a little confused here, and maybe someone else is too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just slow, but you have this money from the nonprofits now flowing into the state funding. How does that make that leap?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You have the nonprofits money now going into the state funding. How does it get that leap? Because to me, I'm thinking that these nonprofits are now getting these dollars and they're putting it into their own programs, or they are putting it
into their own programs.
Right.
So if you look at the system, so the Community Foundation Trust at the top, I'll explain it in the next slide. They create all these nonprofit organizations in order to control the state, in order to get politicians elected. And
I get that. So how does their money turn to the CPS budget, to the court grants, to the judges' salaries, to the sheriff's department, to the state programs and initiatives, and more?
How does it turn into it?
Yes, because this we're supposed to follow the money, right? So you have it right here going to the psychologists and anger management, parental evaluators, and abuse, but then it says goes to the state funding. How does that money jump from nonprofits to the state funding?
Well, no, it goes down into the nonprofits, but it's illegally doing so. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be going to these organizations, because these organizations set up illegal laws in order to purposely defraud the federal government. So this is all a bunch of fraud.
Right. So should we not be
all of these nonprofit organizations.
So shouldn't the federal funding and state
I'm
funding?
sorry, I'm outside and a car just pulled up and is blaring their music, so I'm having trouble hearing you.
Right. I just don't want anybody confused about this. I don't want anybody to have the misinformation or anything, including myself. Should not this begin with the federal funding flowing up this chart? Then, because how does the nonprofit money turn into 3 state funding? How does this flow from the nonprofits go to the state funding?
How does it go from? Because it's all held in trust at the banks, right? It's all held in trust at the universities, right? And so all this money, it's illegal. It's a scam. It's a setup. So these nonprofits were set up specifically in order to elect politicians, in order to steal our money, in order to steal our children illegally, right? Which is what I'll explain in the next slide.
Right. But this is why I want to just clarify on this diamond. But you have the nonprofits putting their money into the CPS budget, to court grants, judge salaries. That's a big part of money from these groups that are collecting money for profit secretly and disposing of it at their will. How is this flow from the nonprofits going into the state funding?
It doesn't go into the state funding. It goes from the state funding to them.
Okay, so
the money.
So the diamond should be a little bit reversed. We should put these state funding and federal funding to the bottom of this, and then show the money going up, right? Like this is where I'm confused. Is this 3 and 4 should essentially be 1 and 2?
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because the money comes from. I know what you're saying, that the money starts with the judge and the dependency court and all of this, and I know that it's here. But then the state funding and the federal funding. Or should that be its own entity itself, that now this money flows up also? Because I'm just confused of why these 2, 1 and 2, go to 3 and 4, to the state funding and to the federal funding. That's all. And everybody else that's watching,
No. They don't go into the state funding. They come from the state funding, but they come from the state funding illegally.
Right. So, okay, I see. So I guess the thing is this: the way the interpretation of the diamond shows it, because
the money flows. The money flows from the top down, right?
Right, I get that.
Yeah.
Where does the money it flows from the top go next?
Into their pockets illegally.
Okay, so that stops their money right there. Then we have the state funding and the federal funding that come on to play, because you have the arrows going from the nonprofit to the state funding. It doesn't. That stops, right? Now we have state funding and federal funding that go to the university funding, which goes to the foundation trusts, right?
Well, it eventually all goes into the banks, which are run by the community. Yeah.
Right. So to clarify, so the judge and family dependency court goes to the court actors, then to the nonprofits. That money stops there. That goes in their pockets.
Sorry, I need some sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Correct.
then we have the state funding and the federal funding, right? So this is the stuff, like we say, we have the CPS budget. The federal funding goes to the state funding, which then goes to the university funding.
No, all the money comes down from the top to these programs, to these nonprofits. But it shouldn't be, because these nonprofits are acting illegally. They were illegally set up by the Community Foundation Trust in order to illegally steal money from the federal government and steal our children.
Right. I understand all of what we're saying and how we do this. I'm just trying to understand the diamond itself. because you show the arrows from the nonprofits going into the state funding.
No, it comes from the state funding down to the nonprofits. I'm sorry, I can't see it right now, and I can't see exactly what you're talking about because I'm.
Okay, I get it. I just, like I said, I don't want people to be confused saying that the nonprofits are funding the state funding and then the federal funding. That's where
No. The nonprofits are getting their funding from the state and federal government. Right. So essentially, what I explain in the next slide is these community foundation trusts. They essentially start anywhere from a couple hundred to a couple thousand nonprofit organizations illegally using loopholes in the law that then they write out the federal and constitutional protections that should be protecting us in order to feed us into the system by violating our rights. So essentially what these community foundation trusts have done is just create 1,000 different illegal organizations in order to steal money from the government, which then goes into their pockets. I mean, the nonprofit organizations, if you look at it, they all have state actors and their family and friends who are sitting on the boards of all these nonprofit organizations. So in the state of Hawaii, if you look at like an organization like the Kuakai Mediation Center, which is a service provider of the court where they send you for mediation, my judge, his wife was sitting on the board of directors of that organization, which is illegal. I mean, so essentially they're just taking the money from the federal government and putting it into their own pockets in these nonprofit organizations, right?
Right. Yep. So I got the second diamond up now, the following the money one. Maybe this will clear up. Maybe this one is more relative to what we're trying to say, shows it a little bit better. I think that was just a confusingness in that first diamond, Daniel. I know exactly what you're saying with the money. That diamond just showed money going from nonprofits to the state funding, and that's all. I just don't want anybody out there giving misinformation. That's all. But now we're at the diamond number 2, following the money. So we start at the banks, right? Foundation and trusts at the top of the diamond, correct?
Correct.
And then we floated, which then goes to, sorry about that. Hold on a second. Sorry, people don't realize I'm on a podcast. So now we go into, let me get back to that. Sorry about that. So we go to the state start nonprofits using federal grants. And then number 2 is mostly compliant, but must follow federal law.
Correct.
And then number 3 is they keep grants under $750,000. Let's talk about that. What do you mean by that?
So if they keep the grants under $750,000 and they don't get audited by the federal government, they don't get audited by the IRS, they don't get audited by Health and Human Services, they don't get audited by the Department of Justice, they don't get audited by anybody because it's under the $750,000 threshold. However, once they get that initial small funding, like say $500,000, then they start getting other revenue streams from other departments and other federal agencies that allow them to make as much as like $5 million per nonprofit.
Holy smokes. That's supposed to be a nonprofit.
It's supposed to be a nonprofit, yeah. But then they'll hire social workers that get paid through the Health and Human Services. And then they'll hire domestic violence specialists who get paid through, Health and Human Services. And then they'll petition the Housing Urban Development, which will pay for their rental, their lease on the property, or will buy the property for them. So, and then they'll get money from the Department of Justice for court improvement programs, which will pay them $50,000 to, work with the court system. So when they get the initial funding of like $500,000 or $250,000, whatever it may be for one nonprofit, like a domestic violence program, then they'll also apply for other grants through other agencies and through other federal partners, and they'll stack their funding from multiple different agencies and allow that $500,000 that allows them to not be audited and turn that into like $5 million.
Right.
So essentially what this is now I see what you were saying about the other diamond. Essentially, this is one big system of fraud. So the CEOs of these banks, they create these nonprofit organizations in order to, the CEOs of the banks through the Community Foundation Trust create a nonprofit organization such as a domestic violence program in order to get money from the federal government by violating our rights. And then they create 1,000 different nonprofit organizations. So you take that, $500,000 or that $5 million that one single nonprofit organization can make from the federal government times 1,000, and you're looking at 500 million to $5 billion per Community Foundation Trust that they're illegally defrauding the federal government out of by violating our rights.
Mm-hmm.
So the money flows down from the top to the nonprofit organizations and into the pockets of the judges and the lawyers and the gals and all their friends who run these domestic violence programs and run these housing programs and run all these different medical programs that they make money off of.
Right.
And they
Right. I want to take a second. Does anybody out here in the audience have any questions right now that they would like to ask about what you've heard so far? Let's just take a second here and let's see what you guys have to say. Does anybody have any questions? What Daniel is explaining right now? Let's just hold off a second before we go any further. Does any of you guys have any questions that need to be answered? If you're confused about any of these things that he's talking about or we're talking about, do you guys have any questions that you need to have answered to understand this a little bit better? Or do you understand it fully and we'll continue on going? But this is a very important thing to make sure that you guys all understand how this flow is working. And I understand that it was confusing a little bit with that opening diamond, but check them out. Let me know if you guys have questions that you need answered. I'll give you guys let's give it 2 minutes, Daniel, before we move on, to give these guys a chance to ask the questions that they possibly need answers to. So let's just chill back for a second and give them a chance to catch this up, and then we'll move on. Yes.
I can
yes.
share some details about. Daniel was mentioning that they hire social workers, counselors, different leaders for each of the divisions. I can speak to that from firsthand experience standpoint, where, let's say, for example, we're talking certain Protestant who shall remain nameless for the purposes of this call. Yes, hired social workers, try to squeeze people into as many of their programs as possible. And I'm guessing each of those programs is under a different head, such that they might obtain funding in that particular head to the tune of that 750. So they'll have a social worker division, a counselor division, a finance division, a emergency housing division, a emergency nutrition division, and emergency clothing division. And each one just has to cap out at the 750, and they remain inscrutable. They remain under scrutability because, as Daniel was saying, as long as they stay under that 750, there's no oversight.
Right. Okay, cool. Daniel, Albie asks this. Written testimony of the Department of the Attorney General. I'm going to slaughter this. I'm sorry. Generalaka Ohaino Okaloi Kuhetu 32nd Legislature 2024. Is that what you were speaking about?
I'm sorry. I don't understand the question.
Apparently in the conversation, we were talking about something with Hawaii, and she's saying right here, Albie's saying that she's having a hard time following this. Right. So we were on that, but she was talking, she asked you specifically the written testimony of the Department of the Attorney General. And then it says, Ohaino Oka Lola Kuhina 32nd Legislature 2024. Is that it? She says. Or are you confused with the question too?
I'm confused with the question. So if you at the actual state legislature laws that they have enacted, I put it in my first U.S. Supreme Court case as a part of the appendix. they actually said in the law when they enacted CAPTA, the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, in I think 2012, that they were doing it solely to get $50 million in federal funding from the federal government. So that would be great, except for if you look at the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, they're supposed to, it explicitly states that they're supposed to follow the Constitution. But if you look at the way that the state of Hawaii wrote it, they wrote the constitutional and federal protections out of it. I'm sorry, I'm changing locations because I just need a little bit there.
And I'm trying to reach out go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, and so if you look at I forget what her name was. She was the former Health and Human Services Director for the state of Hawaii before Ryan Yamani, who was just indicted on bribery charges. In her 2021 budget, I think it was, she actually explicitly states her number 2.
Oh, we lost these movement spots here, guys. So just bear with the frame there. Albie, I understand what you were saying in the thing before. I understand that what you were saying in the question, and that's what I was questioning.
So these it's not even
Daniel,
trying to
we missed what you said for the last 15, maybe 20 seconds. You cut out. Would you
Which
back
one?
up, please? Last 15 seconds, you cut out completely. Would you back up, please? I'm sorry.
Hello?
There you are. You're here.
Are you there?
But now it's 30 seconds. We missed what you said. You got to back up a whole 30 seconds now.
So what's the last thing?
You started talking about Hawaii's Constitution.
Kathy Betts.
Kathy Betts, thank you. So if you look at Kathy Betts in 2021, the budget she submitted to the state legislature, I think it was her, she had like 4 goals for the Department of Health and Human Services. And I think the number 2 goal was to, it literally states to get her service providers paid, to get all these nonprofit organizations paid. And so she doesn't talk about, housing people. She doesn't talk about providing them with medical services. She talks about getting all the nonprofit organizations paid.
Okay. Let me see here. You have a couple of questions up here. Hold on, Daniel. Giorgio wants to know, how does the American public disrupt this flow of money?
You know what? That's going to be my 9th and 10th slide. Okay. I'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Okay.
Sorry, I was a little loopy for a second. I needed a little bit of sugar and some fresh air.
Yep.
So that first slide, it was showing how the Community Foundation Trust are defrauding the federal government billions of dollars. It's like across the country, hundreds of billions of dollars by nonprofit organizations controlled by the bankers bank in each city or state. And it's being done by violating our rights, by stealing our children and stealing our houses.
Right, I got you there. Let's see. Individuals with severe...
So the second slide shows how it's done. Huh?
Oh, I'm just reading some of these questions here from and what these comments are. I just want to get everybody up to speed. Everybody has questions for you and everything. I want these to be so Facts Over Lies says individuals with severe developmental disabilities or autism qualify for specialized medical programs called comprehensive waivers, and that's where the 60 to 150,000 per person comes from, she says. That's she's making a comment about that,
which is great, and that's fantastic. However, if it's done through a civil court where you lose your constitutional and your federal rights and you're forced to do it, then it's a violation of the Constitution and it's a violation of the law, and it's treason. It's it's a RICO. It's defrauding the federal government, as is the case with most of our courts across the country and family courts, where they're forcing you into programs that you don't need by allowing people to file falsified temporary restraining orders, which is what happened in my case, where they then force you to go to a mediation center where your judge's wife is sitting on the board of directors, so that way they can, get paid on the back end and throw big parties for each other and win a bunch of awards, which is completely and totally illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. The sub economy.
Yeah, it's a sub economy.
Right. Well, people don't realize, and this is why when we talk about complete abolishment of the system would destroy the economic structure of the United States, because people don't realize that it's not just money from Title IV that goes to the judges, goes to this, goes that. It's people that are getting paid for their buildings in rent. It's car rental companies. It's, it's just a whole list of people that depend on this money that comes from kidnapping our kids. There's industries that thrive off of, there's so many industries
and that's the problem. It's being done by kidnapping our kids, and that's where the problem comes into play.
Off of that. Right, everything is based off of that. I mean, Title IV funds and the funds that go with them, all those other things, almost meet the amount of money that's spent on the American military every year. That's crazy.
Which is true.
Right. So
it's true.
All of this is based on stealing our kids. And if you took away stealing our kids, it would collapse our entire financial structure.
Which means people have to go out and get real jobs, like, be a nurse or open a business or, go start a community garden somewhere. I mean, I'm not worried about the people that are going to lose their jobs through this, because their job is to protect people. Their job is to help people. Their job is to follow the Constitution, follow the law. And that's the exact opposite of what they're doing. I understand that this is going to cause a major serious crash in a lot of different economies. I mean, if you look at my work, I don't want to say it, I shouldn't say it, but I've cost the Hawaii government billions and billions of dollars because I've been turning in fraud across the state of Hawaii. And the University of Hawaii, I think they lost like $140 million, and they had to shut down like 85 programs, but it was all based on fraud. So those people need to go do something that isn't based on fraud. Mm-hmm. They need to do something that helps the public without hurting them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, if you look at the housing, I discovered a bunch of fraud with the HUD in the state of Hawaii. A lot of their housing programs, I cost them a whole bunch of money with that. I turned them in for fraud for that. And they lost, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. And you know what? I'm sorry that people are losing money for housing, but they need to be able to do it, provide that housing without defrauding the federal government, without stealing our money, without stealing our children. They need to just actually help the people by building them houses. It's like the Hawaii homeland leases. They shouldn't be leasing the land to the people of Hawaii. They should just be giving them the land, but they have to have some form of control over them, so they give them a lease instead. It's all fraud. It's all a bunch of people trying to control the power and stay in power, so that way they can buy luxury houses and buy luxury cars. And Governor Green, and I mean, he's got 3 businesses in where is it? Mexico, Costa Rica, and Colombia, I think it is, Cali, Colombia, which he's trying to hide from the public. But I mean, he's just setting himself up for the future instead of helping the people. The same thing with these judges and their nonprofit organizations. It's all just a bunch of tax write-offs for them, so that way they can not have to pay taxes on their actual income. It's a bunch of crap. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree,
these
1000%.
nonprofits that you're talking about, all tax. They're tax exempt. And to speak to the kidnapping, once they've got a child, they've now got that child, and they can apply whatever diagnosis is going to advance their funding. In our situation, one of the children was labeled with 4 separate diagnoses. When he was in our home, he didn't have any of those. I've got pictures that opposite of the diagnoses that were applied, but it's big bucks to apply an ICD code.
Hello? You there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here, buddy.
We can hear you, Daniel.
I might be losing you.
I hope not. Are you losing us?
Well, my phone's getting ready to die, and I have nowhere to plug it in. I got like 20% left. Let's see how far we can get. Let's go through this as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move along then.
I mean, if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But
yeah, so guys, as we're going, since we're going to be on this force rate of this, if you have questions, throw them up. I'll be paying special attention to the chat, and we'll see if we can't get things ironed out. But let's go back. Are we good with this? The flow of money? Have we hammered this thing out? You want to go to the next diamond here, or do you want to just finish going over this, the flow, following the money diamond?
No, we can keep going unless people have questions.
All right, so move to this third slide.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me get on that right now. And Albie, I asked you if you wanted to. I know that you are in the hot seat of being right there in the hands of the fire with the law stuff. If you want to come in and join us, we'd be more than glad to have you in here. Haven't seen you or heard from you in a long time, so we'd be welcome you to come in here and give us any assistance that you could. If you if something that you see or hear that we need to have corrected, or something that you can add to Daniel's research and everything, that would be wonderful. If not, that's but let me know. I'll put the link up for you to join. Which one is next? Are we doing the multi-trillion-dollar international RICO fraud?
Yep.
Let's
see.
This one here, right there.
Yep, that's the next one.
Okay, cool.
So if you follow the money, it goes from these community foundation trusts into the national banking system, JP Morgan Chase, BlackRock, Vanguard, and then it goes from there up to the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury, and then eventually where it leads is the Bank of International Settlements. So the problem with that is the Bank of International Settlements is a bank of banks for all the Federal Reserves around the world. I think they have like 60 or 70 different Federal Reserves. And the issue is they control something like $50 trillion that flows through their system on a regular basis. When everybody goes to sleep at night, all the money is going up into this cloud with the Bank of International Settlements, who then sends the money from one country to another country. They control the entire global economy. And the way they work with deciding how the money around the world is spent is through a majority vote. Now, the problem with that is like one group of countries can vote against a different country and where their money's going to go. And so let's say that 30 countries in Europe want to vote to invest more money in I keep saying the Nigerian oil fields, or they want to invest more money in some Southeast Asian country to build their economy. What they do is they take money from one country, a rich country. Hello?
Yeah, you're going. You're good. You're here.
Sorry, my camera keeps freezing, so I don't know if I'm on or not.
Yeah,
they'll take money from one country, like North America, that has lots of money, and they'll then invest that money through a series of other banks, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, into these third world countries. And the money then gets invested into other nonprofits and other businesses that are eventually run by the billionaires, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the people at the World Economic Forum. And if you look at the billionaires and the World Economic Forum, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the board of directors of the World Economic Forum, they also control all these different nonprofits and all these different businesses. that all the money is invested into in these third world countries. And so essentially what you're looking at is the American family court system is just a ledger on a book. I mean, it's $120 billion per year system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what you find out is they don't even care about us as a population. They don't care about our kids. They don't care about the fact that our lives are being destroyed or that I'm a refugee in South America. None of that matters to them. What they care about is the $120 billion that our industry makes, that they then take and invest in some random third world country where they build new cities and they fund wars, and they do whatever it is they want to do with their nonprofit organizations and their businesses. So we as a whole, our group, the family court system, parents, our children, are literally being bought and sold on the black market, essentially, the banking market, to other countries. And so it's essentially just a slave system, which is why you feel like a slave in the family court system, which is why they steal your house and steal your kids and steal everything else. It's just a bunch of slavery.
And they feel like they have the right to do it. And they have not even the right, but they have the privilege to.
Yeah, well,
it's their right.
Yeah, they look at us like cattle. So if you look at the Parker Ranch in Hawaii, which is, controls a couple 100,000 acres in Hawaii. The guy that owned that, I forget his name, but he met with John D. Rockefeller and created that foundation. And he actually said that the Hawaiian people are the new form of cattle. I mean, they look at us like we're cattle to be herded, to make money off of.
Yeah, they have for a long period of time.
Yeah, and so if you look at the Bank of International Settlements, it was actually created by some family and workers for John D. Rockefeller. And so he set that up back in the 1930s to deal with the Nazi reparations after the World Wars. And at first, America never joined it because it's a violation of our Constitution. So all those 68 different Federal Reserves that are on that board, that are part of that bank, it's in violation of our constitutional and our federal rights. When they're making decisions about where the money should go from this country or that country, they don't think, oh, well, what does the Constitution say, or what does the federal laws in the United States say? They say, well, we need the money here, we need the money there. They could care less about the people or the rule of law. They are an international organization that is not controlled by anybody except for the elite, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the World Economic Forum.
Right.
And they answer to nobody except for themselves.
Okay. Uh-oh. Daniel, did we lose you there?
I don't know. Did you lose me?
There you go. No, there you are. Okay. You just clicked out. Okay. So let me give you an example. So Governor Josh Green in Hawaii, he just met with the Clintons at the Clinton Global Initiative in New York back in November, I think it was. And he's currently working with Mark Benioff, who is investing hundreds of millions of dollars into the healthcare system of Hawaii. And so if you look at the World Economic Forum, their new thing is to invest in healthcare, because through healthcare, they can invade your life. They can invade every aspect of your life. They know everything about you. They know about your family history. They know about your diseases. They know about your mental health. And so what the billionaires at the World Economic Forum are doing now is making a major push for healthcare in the United States, which you can see through Governor Green and through in Hawaii, where they're building lots of new hospitals and where they're implementing shield laws where they can't be sued for anything they do in a hospital, because that way they can protect their investment. And what that does is it takes an individual like myself, and it forces people into systems that they don't necessarily need by violating their rights and by knowing every single little detail about them. So that's their new thing. And I actually saw that agenda happen when I attended a
a United Nations conference in Brazil not too long ago.
Okay. Now, what are they going to do with that? So what do you mean? Just kind of build off of that for a quick second. Like, what are they trying to penetrate with all of this? Like,
Well,
are they trying to just strip you of all of your
it's world domination, right? It's the new world order. It's mass surveillance. It's them controlling every aspect of your life. I mean, which they already do through cell phones, but now they're going to do it through healthcare. They're doing it through the family courts. They're doing it through the flock cameras they're putting out all over the world. It's just another level of mass surveillance and mass control.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's actually to view us and look at us, or to actually, is it a psychological thing that they're doing to break us down and make us feel this this feeling of being intruded on? Like, do you think the intrusion is real? Do you think the intrusion is real, or do you think it's the idea of being intruded on that makes this stuff
all of the above. All of the above. All of the above.
Got you. All right. So you want to go to the next one here before you die out here?
Sure.
Okay. So this one's going to be. You got that one. Okay, I believe it. We're at this one here. Open. This one is the $50 trillion worldwide RICO fraud.
Yep. So if you go one step further past the Bank of International Settlements, you're going to eventually hit the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the World Economic Forum, which is actually what controls the Bank of International Settlements. If you look at the board of directors of the World Economic Forum, which is one of the next slides you're going to pull up, they actually have the president of the European Central Banking System on their board of directors. And if you look at the chairman of the World Economic Forum, it's Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, of course, which is the largest global investment firm. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at the foundations that control the Bank of International Settlements through their various nonprofits and through their board of directors, you're going to find out that it's a group of former presidents. It's a group of CIA intelligence officials, Department of State officials, people that used to work for the Clintons. If you look at the BlackRock board of directors, Cheryl Mills is on there. She's also on the board of directors of the Clinton Foundation. If you look at the Rockefeller Foundation, I think it is, they have a president of a former South American country, as well as a president of a former prime minister of the UK. And so these former politicians, intelligence officials, along with these billionaires, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the billionaires who run the World Economic Forum, they actually run the banking system through the Bank of International Settlements in violation of our Constitution and in violation of our federal rights and in violation of all of our rights and all of the laws. Which is why if you look at the recent U.S. Supreme Court case that involved President Trump trying to fire one of the Treasury, the Federal Reserve members, he wasn't allowed to do that. The U.S. Supreme Court has sided with Trump in a whole bunch of different things, but they refuse to side with Trump when it comes to the money, when it comes to the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is off limits because it's run by these billionaires.
Yes, I pulled up the World Economic Forum right here, and the board of trustees, like you said, you got Lawrence Fink, Andre Hoffman, H.M. Queen Rania, and Al Abdullah of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan.
Yeah, so I mean, you got people from other countries, from Saudi Arabia and from Europe and from Southeast Asia, and there's even people from China. There's even people. Officials from China on there. which I'm not against any one country. I'm for the people of all countries.
Al
But
Gore?
you have Al Gore, yep, he's on there too. You'll see the president of the European Central Bank is on there. You'll see Mark Benioff, who's investing all the money in the healthcare system in Hawaii. He's on there. All these people, they control. Yeah, they control the Bank of International Settlements through their nonprofit organizations, which have all these different people on their board of directors, which control the banking systems in the various countries, which then determine through majority vote where our world's finances go. In violation of our Constitution and in violation of our federal rights, our federal laws, it has nothing to do with the law. It has nothing to do with what we as people want. It has nothing to do with our children.
So well, it does in a sense, right? Because all of this money that the children being kidnapped is making is being dumped into this world economic system, right? Like that's basically what's happening now.
Yeah, it's being dumped into the nonprofit organizations that they run in other countries. It's being dumped into businesses that they run in other countries. Right. So essentially, they're stealing our money, our actual money, from our bank accounts through illegal court orders in the family court system. They're stealing our houses, which is what happened with Arnold Gann, another advocate. I mean, they're stealing our entire lives, and they're funneling all the money up through the banking system to the BIS, to the Bank of International Settlements, where they then redistribute it to the World Bank, the Bank of the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and the International Monetary Fund, where they then redistribute the wealth to nonprofit organizations and to businesses that they control in other countries. So it's a massive RICO scam at the highest level.
I guess the hell. Wow. Man, there's a lot of. You mean, boy.
So if you want to go on to the next, go on to the next couple slides.
Yep. Let me see. I have one more here. Let's see here. Next slide is this one here. All right. What do we got for questions up there?
So the last time we talked, you said, am I encouraging the New World Order to happen or to take over America? The New World Order happened 30 years ago when the U.S. joined the Bank of International Settlements when our country, the United States, was sold out to the elite billionaires by Bill Clinton and Alan Greenspan back in '94, I think it was, in which Bill Clinton got paid hundreds of millions of dollars and was able to start the Clinton Global Foundation, or the Clinton Global Initiative. So, I mean, the New World Order has been here for 30 years. People just don't realize it. They're just now waking up to it. We're no longer in control of our country. We're no longer in control of our lives. We're no longer in control of our kids. We're no longer in control of our jobs. It's all being run by these elitist billionaires who could care less about what we as individuals want.
Hey, Giorgio wants to know what immediate claims can the public make against this money system to retrieve their children from CPS?
That's actually my last couple slides.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm getting them up here. Hold on, I'm replacing this one, right? So the next one I have, I think this might be, I think Jen sent me some other ones, but how to fight back is our next one, right? Open.
So yeah, the next 3 or 4 slides that I sent you were pictures of the board of directors of all these different of the Rockefeller Foundation, BlackRock, the World Economic Forum, which you just went through a little bit, and one other board of directors, which shows all these CIA operatives who sit on these board of directors, and all these State Department workers sitting on all these board of directors who run the banks. But we can move on to how to fight back.
Okay, there it is. It's up there.
Okay. So can you read for me?
Sure can. Hold on one second here. Let me get out of this.
Just refresh my memory a little bit.
Sure can. Hold on. Let me just get out of the screen here. Oh, okay, here's this. All right, I got this right here. Let me put this up real quick. This here, guys, this is what he was just speaking about. This is the picture of the board members here at the World Economic Forum here. I think it's up here somewhere. There we go. Leadership. There it is right there. Daniel,
That's the BlackRock Foundation. Or no, that's the Rockefeller Foundation. So if you look at Rockefeller Foundation, you'll see presidents of former countries, Prime Minister of the UK. You'll see corporate titans.
Okay, here we go. Jen's got it for me. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to fighting back, right? That's where we're going next.
Yeah, so the one you had up.
My name is
This one here. Put that out there. All right, we're in there.
What can I do for you?
Okay.
So this one says, first is expose the corruption.
Number one is what?
Expose the corruption.
Yeah, so expose the corruption. So what I learned over the past 20 years is I spent a year training myself how to be a computer hacker, and I've never hacked a computer, never. But what I did do is research open source information and how to use the 99% of the internet that most people don't use, and how to look up documents, and how to look up organizations, and how to look up tax records, and how to look up SEC filings, and how to look up all the information that everybody's not usually interested in. And so when I first started going through this divorce process, and my ex-wife filed the first restraining order against me, the fraudulent one that I was found innocent of, I right away researched the entire lives of everybody who was involved in that case, the judge, the CPS actors, the lawyers, and I found out everything there was to find out about those people. I looked up their real estate records, I looked up their families, I looked up all their illegal connections, conflicts of interest, and that's how I found out that the judge, Mahalani Hyatt, was on the board of directors of the nonprofit, which is illegal and a conflict of interest, which is why they reprimanded her by the commission, Hawaii Judicial Commission. And I found out that my judge, Judge Ng, his wife, who's also a judge, was on the board of directors of the Kuakai Mediation Center, which is illegal, a conflict of interest, and something they could spend 20 years in prison for violating my rights because it's caused extreme damage. But what you can do is when you come up against a judge or a lawyer, you want to know everything about their lives, because no judge, as we're finding out, is impartial. They all have a hidden agenda. I'm sure there's good ones out there. I don't want to label them all bad. I came across one judge, the 12th judge, eventually followed the law. Judge Medeiros, I think her name was. But all the other judges, they all violated my rights. They all broke the law. They all dragged me across the courtroom half naked because I was exposing all their fraud, because they were violating my rights. And so you want to find out everything you can about each one of these people and all their conflicts of interest, and you'll find all the corruption. And then the next one.
Okay, contact individuals in writing.
Yeah, so the way that I do things is I send emails, because that creates a paper trail. And so what I did once I found all the corruption is I actually looked up the individual work email addresses for the most powerful people in our government, the leaders of the Department of Justice, the Office of Inspector General, the CG, the Center for Integrity and Ethics, Peace Lab, the people that run them, that answer to the president. And I looked up all their leaders, got all their email addresses, and then I started sending out mass emails to all of them at once, exposing all this corruption. And they never responded to me. But I knew that they were listening, because once, like, my Judge Ng, threatened to hold me in contempt of court for something that was just stupid and had nothing to do with our case and was illegal. And so I sent off an email to the Office of Inspector General and the Department of Justice and CG and Peace Law, and Judge Ng never threatened to hold me in contempt of court again. And so
that's convenient. Oh.
Yeah. And so then the next hearing I went to, he started yelling at me in court over something stupid because he was just trying to control me, the mind games, the gang stalking. And so after he yelled at me in court, I sent off another mass email to all these people. And I'm like, this judge is yelling at me in court over something stupid that's illegal. He shouldn't be, having this problem. And so then the judge never yelled at me again. And so even though these people, they never contacted me directly, they actually did contact the judge, which I knew was happening by the judge's reaction to what was happening in the courtroom. And so they do make changes. I don't know who was making the changes. I have an idea. I'm not going to mention it, but they did pay attention, and they did call somebody.
Something happened, right?
Something
then
happened.
You escalate the government oversight.
Yeah, then you start talking to their bosses and their bosses' bosses and their bosses' bosses, and you always use mass emails so that way you're essentially doing a dragnet. You're catching everybody, because if those people don't do something, then they become liable. I mean, every single person that I emailed who didn't help me is now liable for the fact that I'm sitting here in South America and I've had to go through countless hardships and almost been stabbed 3 different times, been homeless on the streets of the border of Venezuela and Brazil. I mean, I've gone through absolute hell trying to fight this fight, having countless death threats on a regular basis. It's all their fault. And I can actually connect the fact that it is their fault because they didn't do their job and stop this from happening.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now we're going to expand the outreach.
Expand the outreach. So that's where you start connecting with other groups, right? And that's where if the government leaders don't do their job, then you start going to international leaders like the United Nations, and you start going to the international criminal courts, and you start reaching out to other countries. Not that they will or won't do anything, but what happens is it shines a light on the corruption of the Americans on a worldwide level, which they really, really hate, which is why they control the media, which is why they up until just recently would never report on this stuff, because they don't want to look bad. So when you start contacting international organizations, they're like, America's supposed to be this great nation that's supposed to have the Constitution, that's supposed to protect its people, but that's just not the case in family court. And we need to expose that. And so contact those international bodies and also start reaching out to other advocacy groups such as yourself and such as Robert Garza and what was it, Francis Amato or somebody who's doing the family court new bill. I mean, just build as much community as you can and reach out to your local advocacy groups as well as your national and state, and if need be, your international advocacy groups to shine a light on the corruption.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now we're going to go to take action.
Take action. The next one.
Yeah, or do you want to go to the next slide, the next thing?
I can't see the take action. What does it say?
It says.
I think I explained it all.
Yeah, I think you're good on this one. Yeah. I think you did this whole thing. I think you did that one. So let's go to your next one here, which is, I think Jen sent it to me right here. It's another fighting back one. But do you want to use this one? It says the New World Order Guide to Politics.
Yeah, let's use that. Let's dip into that.
Okay, so there we go. Sharing this tab is there. Boom. So now we'll put that one. Where are we here? Where are all of us? Let me find it here. There it is. It's there. Maximize. There we go. All right, there we are. That one's up.
So there's a couple things I wanted to say about this, which is I found this week there is an International Society of Family Law, and that International Society of Family Law works with all the different family law groups around the world. And I found out that this what's happening to us is actually happening in at least 68 other countries. So China, India, Europe, South America, Southeast Asia, it's happening around the world. And the media is suppressing it. These billionaires are suppressing it because they don't want us to unite. They don't want us to put a stop to it, because if it's a $120 billion business in the United States alone, it's a multi-trillion-dollar business around the world, which is all feeding into the Bank of International Settlements, which is all then being fed into the World Bank and the IMF and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So that way it can then be fed into these billionaires, nonprofits in third world countries and their businesses in third world countries. So that way they can just make more money off of other people. So I started reaching out to the International Society for Family Law. I sent their board of directors an email a couple nights ago asking if they're willing to work with us and work with the public to create some of those policies and procedures and some of that research they're doing. And I'm going to
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to see if they respond. If they don't, I'm going to let them know that they're not liked. Huh?
No, we don't want to say that. We don't want to say that what you're going to do yet, but let's wait on that one for sure.
Yeah. So if you look, I'm sorry, I can't read it, and I can't pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Yeah, let's see. Let me get it for you here. It says minimize. Oh, we don't do that. We maximize it. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, fighting back, and then that one. I'm gonna go over here. Okay, it says the problem is global.
So the problem is global, which is what I was just talking about with the International Society of Family Law. So these billionaires are essentially destroying entire civilizations. Like I was in Peru for a little while, and I discovered that in Peru they sterilized 200,000 indigenous women.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know. They I know. They just stopped 200,000 indigenous Amazonian women from being able to bear children. And with the Hawaiian people, if you look at the statistics, they took 10,000 children from their families in Hawaii, and 8,000 of those were Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders. And if you look at all the atrocities that are happening around the world, I mean, if you go back to the Native American Indians that they put in the religious schools, and they put in the boarding schools, if you look at all these atrocities that are happening around the world, this is this new world order, this group of elite billionaires who are displacing people and trafficking them around the world in order to make money. And so that's why it's a human rights crisis. That's why it's something that needs to be dealt with on a worldwide level.
Okay. Now the next one is those with power are playing both sides. Connect the dots.
Yeah, so that's what it comes down to.
Okay, so let's go to the objective. So it is. So let's do like problem is global, and then this is the objective. Okay, and then which is exposure, defunding, debanking, civil litigation.
Correct. So all these billionaires that run the World Economic Forum, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and all these board members and all these different nonprofit organizations that they run, they have no immunity whatsoever. Whether it's civil or whether it's criminal, they can be sued for billions of dollars. They can be thrown in prison for violating our rights and for destroying our country and for not following the Constitution. So we need to fight back legally. I mean, just recently, I think it was a couple days ago, the Georgia State Supreme Court allowed RICO cases to proceed against family courts. And I honestly think that somebody needs to file a RICO case against state family courts using this information, based on the fact that it's the bankers who are controlling the courts and controlling the politicians in order to steal our children and steal our homes and just feed us into a system that they then use to make money in other countries. So we need to do that, and then we also need to find people to start pressing charges and start sending them to prison. I mean, they're committing mass atrocities on a global level. They need to be held accountable for that.
All right, now this says, now it goes down 4 methods of defunding a corporate system, a corrupt system, I'm sorry. First one is civil litigation.
Yeah, civil litigation, which is what I was just talking about. File the RICO lawsuit.
Okay.
And start suing. So start suing and protesting the billionaires and the nonprofit community foundations that they run at the local level. So I mean, I honestly believe that there should be a mass protest, not of the courts or not of the police, that there should be a mass protest of the Hawaii Community Foundation Trust, because they're the ones, Peter Ho, the CEO of First Hawaiian Bank, who runs the Community Foundation Trust in Hawaii. People should be protesting him, not the police. He's the one who controls the police. He's the one who writes the laws through those 1,000 nonprofit organizations that he has. People should be protesting, the other members of the board of directors of the Community Foundation Trust, and they should be suing Peter Ho. They should be suing the other bankers and real estate moguls that are on that board of directors.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's something that I think we should be doing in every state across the country and in every city.
We should be. Yeah. What about the international method?
So refresh my memory.
Let me see here. I'm having a hard
I have to be careful what I say, because I have my own plans.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go down to this. The public is
exposed too much here.
Let's go to the public is not seeing the whole picture. Because you've gotten this whole thing pretty much covered under this whole chart here. You've already done. But you pretty much say expose it, debund it, debank it, sue it, report it, prosecute it, shine the light on it. That's pretty much that. But I think you've gone over everything on this one here so far. So I think we should switch to the next one.
No, that's the last one. I think something that we need to realize is the Bank of International Settlements, up until now, enjoyed immunity, or so it thought. However, according to recent Supreme Court cases, because it's connected to the Federal Reserve, it no longer enjoys immunity and can now be sued. And I think we need to start suing these international organizations, especially these banking organizations, because they are connected to American financial systems, which opens them up to RICO lawsuits and opens them up to both civil and criminal prosecution and litigation. And so I think what we need to start doing is going after legally, I have to say that because I'm on video, after the bankers at top. And I think we need to start putting them on notice that if they don't start respecting our rights, that they are going to awaken the giant, America. I mean, I'm one of many people who is discovering this right now, and I'm a mentally ill man. Imagine what's going to happen when the masses discover this. Imagine what happens when the good old boys in the mountains of Northern California or Georgia realize that they're under the control of China through the Bank of International Settlements. Imagine what's going to happen when they realize that it's the European Central Bank that is deciding to steal their money. I mean, the elite need to realize that we are now awakening, and if they don't change, that a lot worse than civil litigation is going to happen.
Well, I mean, that's just, here's the question. Again, the age-old question that we ask in this movement, and this is a great way to end this program because I know your phone's probably dying. How do we get people involved with this that aren't either, if they're not seeing it, they don't understand it, they don't, whatever it is, it doesn't affect their life, so they don't care about it. They think you're a farce, you're a tinfoil hat wearer, you should have lost your kid, you're a bad parent, all of this. How do you get people to pay attention to this and start listening and moving in this direction?
So what I'm doing and what I've spent the past year and a half doing is awakening the people within other groups that are being affected by this people. So, I mean, I'm letting the people in the Amazon know that the reason why the Amazon is being destroyed and being deforested right now is because of these bankers and because of these nonprofit organizations. And I'm letting them know that the reason why, 200,000 of their women were sterilized is because of these bankers and these nonprofit organizations. We need to get other people, groups that are being oppressed by these elitists to join the movement. The movement isn't just the family court victims. It's all the oppressed people around the world, which is why we need to start taking our case to the International Criminal Court and having them arrested so they can't travel, which is why we also need to go to the United Nations and start having them defund these nonprofit organizations that they're using. And we need to start reporting them to the Department of Justice. We need to get out of our own skin and our own problems and focus on the world as a whole and recruit other people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. But that's what I'm saying. How do you make people think we're not kooks?
How do you make people think we're not kooks? Show them the evidence.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Like, people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They want to think that you were a bad parent. That's why you lost your kid. There's no bullshit. There's no such thing as all this farce that we say. None of this stuff.
Honestly, the one thing I sound like I may sound like a kook on this episode because I'm tired and because I'm starving and because I'm in a third world country and because I'm freezing cold because it's raining. But the one thing I'm good at, my one specialty by the grace of God, is connecting with people, which is how I've been able to live in the Amazon for the past 9 months and live with indigenous tribes and live in local neighborhoods where 9 out of 10 people couldn't live without getting murdered, because I'm really, really good at connecting with people. Mm-hmm. And the way that I do that is I find a common bond. Mm-hmm. So in order to connect with a person like where I'm at, I have nothing in common with the people I'm staying with right now. I'm staying in some random local casa with people I've never met in South America. But as soon as I got here, I shared a beer with them. Mm-hmm. And then I talked to them about their families. And then I told them about my story. And we connected over our common bond of loving families and loving people and, have a beer. And I built a relationship with them. Mm-hmm. And we just need to connect with people on a natural level and then share our struggles and connect our struggles to each other and how that connects back to this problem right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's easier. It sounds easier than said than done. I know that I've been trying to, we all try to tell the same thing to people. We try to tell them that this stuff's real and it's so on and so forth. And no one likes to listen and they think it's a joke. And I think that's the biggest hurdle that we need to overcome because, when we're all going to that finish line, finally people may be waking up, but it may be too late for them too at that point. This is all a very serious thing that's getting ready to happen here. And if people don't start waking up and understanding what is going on, even though they're comfortable now sitting in their home and, they got $1 million cars and, life and their kids are in college. Well, when this shit breaks down and it goes the way that it goes, it's going to be a different story. And those of us that are paying attention and know what's going on are going to be where we need to be. And those of them that aren't are going to be in trouble.
What I did was I connected this family court fight to politics, which is something I actually planned about 2.5 years ago. So recently, about 3 or 4 months ago, I started going on the Facebook groups that have the largest political following in Hawaii. And I started posting about the corruption of the Governor Green and Senator Joy San Buenaventura and Peter Hill and the community foundation that he runs. And all of a sudden, things started changing. And so after I had a small following of people by exposing the corruption of these bankers and politicians, then I started introducing my court fight and how my kids were stolen. And then I started introducing how these corrupt bankers and politicians are doing all these, creating all these illegal laws. And so I found a different group, the political group, and I connected our cause to their cause, which is the family courts and the illegal laws in the family courts to the corruption of the corrupt state actors. So you just got to find a way to connect with people on a local and a state and a global level, and then awaken them, which is what I've been doing for the past year and a half here in South America.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool, Daniel. I love it. We're going to keep working towards things. I do have, I've got some money that I'm going to send you. Guys, if you guys want to match me on what I'm sending to Daniel, I'm sure he would greatly appreciate it. That
would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Because I don't work. My work is this. This is all I do is I do this research and I fight for my kids and I cause trouble for the corrupt politicians on Facebook, and I expose their corruption, and I email the Department of Justice and the Office of Inspector General. I spend more hours than I can count doing this, what I've explained. That's my life. So I don't have any form of income other than what people donate.
Yeah, no, I'm working on that. I know that last week we didn't get a big strong showing, but if anybody out there can give me a hand, throwing a few extra bucks in to help Daniel's stuff, I put right here, just has to send money to DGENP, and I will get that to Daniel. I'll send it out again tomorrow. I'll try for noontime tomorrow, and we'll get that done. So we'll see what we can do for him.
Much
the guy
appreciated.
Needs some nourishment and a steak, for God's sakes, so that's great. But Daniel, I also want to, we'll talk later about this, but I think that this might be a good webinar. Maybe we plan a webinar, and get some people to buy in and, and make it, a whole day about this stuff for people that are interested and so on. Something I was thinking about to get some money for you too, and, try to rally up some support for this whole thing. So
that'd be great. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, let's talk about that, off the screen here. And that's that. But everybody else, tomorrow night, Maine Matters. We'll be there. Jen, thank you for standing in the co-host spot for me tonight, backing me up. I appreciate that very much, as always. And don't forget, guys, we have the CPS Punisher app. It's www.thecpspunisher.com. And then also, what's more important is the Reunification Central app. Make sure that you guys, if you know people that have their kids are missing or whatever, use that app, guys, because the more people that get on the app, the more people will know about that app. So we need people to start, looking for their kids or their family members that they've lost because CPS tore them away. So please, guys, use that. I'll put a QR code up for that here at the ending of the show right now, when we bail out of the music here and everything. Also, like I said, yes, sir.
Can I say one last thing?
You say as many things as you want, buddy.
So if they don't give me back my kids, if they don't right their wrongs, anything and everything I do is their fault. Just moving forward.
Yeah.
I have to make that disclaimer. My intent is not to break any laws. My intent is not to hurt anybody, and I don't plan to hurt anybody. I don't plan to break any laws. But anything and everything I do moving forward is on their shoulders. And I'm stating that publicly. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for my kids. I'm fighting for our Constitution, and I'm fighting against the corruption. So they need to be aware that my intent is not to hurt anybody.
Yeah, and thank you very much for that, Dan, because people don't realize the weight that this bears. When we do this stuff, things that we do, whether it's me reporting here and, whatever, like people don't realize that this is serious business, what we're doing here, man. This is a real serious business. And every move we make, you have to be careful. You got to look behind your back. There's a reason that there's not a lot of people out here that are doing it. And it's not because it's a secret, it's not because nobody knows about this stuff. It's because of the dangers that come with us. We haven't had anything like us since, I don't want to say that we've led the way here, but we kind of have, like brought this to the public eyes, which is what I wanted to do originally. Was I'm like, we have to change the stigma of this. And through what we're doing, we are slowly changing this stigma and getting people to stand up. And instead of feeling sorry for themselves and being put in a corner, they're starting to come out and they're starting to be pissed and they're starting to want to fight. And that's what that's what we're here for. That's what we want. And you guys are all doing it. And, thank you very much for that. All of you, every one of you. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and fuck CPS. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care.
They told you to stay quiet. They said the system is too big, too complicated, too rigged for a parent to fight. They were counting on you believing that. Right now, 328,000 children are in foster care, many of them removed through investigations that buried your rights before you knew you had them. Your constitutional protections are real. Due process, the Fourth Amendment, the 14th. What's missing is a system that shows you where they were violated and hands you the proof. That system is the CPS Punisher, AI case analysis. 24 types of constitutional violations detected. Court-ready documents generated in seconds. Every state, full law library, case timeline, AI legal chat. It reads your case and surfaces what they hoped you'd never find. Procedural errors, rights deprivations, missed statutes. Then it builds the motion. Instant. Your rights, written into strategy. Your children are counting on you. Stop fighting without the tools that can actually win. Go to thecpspunisher.com and create your free account now. 60 seconds to start. No credit card. The system never wanted you to find this. Now you have it.
Where the innocent are taken, CPS enforces chains, families left forsaken. They hide behind the badge of protection's hollow claim, but the truth reveals a system built on power and shame. We stand united now, no longer silent in the fight, exposing every failure beneath the glaring light. We're burning down the system, torching lies and deceit, fighting CPS corruption from the courthouse to the street. Make it hard for the tyrants who tear our children away. Rise up with the Punisher. We will not obey. Burn it down, burn it down. Justice lights the flame for every broken family. We reclaim our name. They come without warning, with warrants forged in fear, destroying sacred bonds while the public remains unclear. Due process disregarded, rights trampled underfoot. The Punisher podcast calls out the truth they try to mute. From New Hampshire halls to courts across the land, we document the abuses and take a righteous stand. We're burning down the system, torching lies and deceit, fighting CPS corruption from the courthouse to the street. Make it hard for the tyrants who tear our children in the trenches to the fighters who persist. Your stories fuel the fire that no bureaucracy can resist. We amplify the message through the podcast and the mic, turning pain to power under freedom's guiding light. We're burning down the system. Watch the old order fall. Fighting CPS with courage, answering freedom's call. Make it hard, make it harder, until reform is won. The CPS Punisher rises.
The battle has begun. Burn it down, burn it down.
Let the flames ignite the way for families reunited
In a brighter day.
We know it's all about the money, we know they lie, we know this is corruption. Does CPS know what they are doing to the children?